4, 3, 2, 1. And are you ready for launch with Lionel?
I'm telling you what, you were looking damn good. Slicker than snot on a doorknob, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
Thank you, my friend. I really like your blue carnation.
A pink crustacean and a sport coat. Let's go back. How about that Candace Owens yesterday? She is, I think, Candace Owens, I think, is the most powerful person on the, next to you, of course, but the most powerful person on the internet today. Maybe not the most popular in terms of numbers, maybe Joe Rogan. But if Candace Owens says, storm the Bastille, people would say, let's go. I mean, she is incredible, absolutely incredible. And
Marty's saying that Candace gave you a shout out yesterday.
Yes.
Are you aware of this?
You know how I can tell? Sometimes all of a sudden I'll see like numbers go up. It's like, oh, somebody said something. But she is extremely powerful. I think she's great. I think she is phenomenal. And what she's done regarding Charlie, her friend, is just incredible. Absolutely incredible. And not only that, she's done this, Shaun. She has enlisted, she has inspired all of these deep divers who, my God, what you don't want her ever saying, let's look at this Shaun Attwood guy. Oh no. She went through every LLC, every corporation, every limited partnership, every sub-S, you name it, that Candace's mother, Lori Franz, went through. I mean, just, and before we get into the notion of this, if you had to advise Erika, by the way, I think I speak on behalf of most people. We never even mentioned her. We never even thought about her. We thought, poor woman. And that was it. That was it. We never thought anything about it. And then all of a sudden she came out and was like, who the hell is this? She's like a villain from wrestling. Stop. If you put her and Cash Patel together with those, they got Betty Davis eyes. My God. There's this, listen, I don't want to tell you. All of a sudden they said, all right, I'm going to go now. Let me see. Yes. What are we doing now? Oh, we're doing the cry scene. Okay, yes. Hang on a minute. Just a minute. Let me get here's Erika. Let me see. Do you have where's the mentholatum? Okay, yes. Ooh, what is this? Menthol. Ooh, put some on there. Yeah. Yes. Let me see. Ooh. Here come the tears. Yes. Just a minute. 1, 2, 1, 2. There we go. Oh. Whoo-wee. Now, one thing about her crying. You know when you hand somebody, you know when you hand somebody tissues when people are crying. You know why? Because people are because they're the lacrimation, the tears and the tear ducts makes them mucosal. You blow your nose. Never. She never blows her nose. She just does this and this. It's like not once, and never says, "Oh God, hang on, oh shit, hang on." Never gets right through it. Barrels through it. It's almost like, when you're doing a play here on Broadway, you do 8 shows a week. And if you're doing a, how do I say this? A scene over and over and over again, you make sure, okay, let's do the kitchen table scene. All right, cut places, people. You have to do it every single time. Bring your props, bring your water bottle, do this. If you have to, they used to be able to, in some cases, blow this camphor at you where you'll start crying. I'm not saying she's doing that, but none of it seems real. None of it seems real in the least. It's like one's better than the other. And I got to tell you what got me going. And remember, I didn't even know who she was. Normally people say, we're not going to go after the Candace, by the way, makes a great comparison to the way Kobe Bryant's widowed. She was fantastic. She says, look, I'm only going to say this one time. My husband, my daughter, and that's it. And she didn't say it again. And by the way, tickets, go to Lakers.com for your season tickets. That's Lakers. What do you... Immediately after this happened, what's the first thing she does? She does that creepy shot where she's lying atop the dead, cold body of her husband, showing the hands. Did you get this? You get it? Let's do it again. All right, people. Take 2. Ready? Body shot in 3, 2. It's disgusting. Disgusting. I guarantee you, if you were to look at that, if she ever drops that, if we do a DNA test, you'll find mentholatum, menthol, and not a molecule of tear on it. I don't know what it is. It's absolutely. Put it this way: we're saying stop doing this. We want to like you. Look at this. In fact, Jem says Erika was the first to forgive Charlie's killer. Yet Drewski went too far. How about Drewski? Drewski was just Shaun, where do we start? Grok says, who's this? Oh, that's Erika. That's me. A 350-pound black man is me. Couldn't see through that. It's like, okay, Grok. And you think, and Elon is thinking, gee, I they didn't run through Chat GPT. Nobody else could figure this out. This was one of the funniest things ever. You think if she were smart, she would say, they say that, oh, look at this. The heartbreak of psoriasis. Just that classic, always in pain. Nobody does this. Let me tell you something. If you can get a great shot, by the way, of the night of the State of the Union, she was sitting next to, you remember, I don't know if you heard about it, but in the States here, there was this poor woman from Ukraine, this very nice, very, very sweet, beautiful young woman. She's here working hard, and she's taking this light rail, and this guy behind her comes and stabs her right there. Remember that? Okay. The mother was at the State of the Union every year at the White House, and she is looking, just like the 1,000-yard stare. She's sitting right next to Theda Bara, the Joan Crawford over here, who is, oh, Lordy, I do believe the vapors. Okay. So you could see she was almost looking at her like, so that's what grief looks like. You people seeing this? Make a note of this. So how come you don't have a hanky? Because a lot of times people are cried out. After a period of time, you're into the next stage. You're into the Elizabeth Kubler-Ross kind of grief. You're just paralyzed. This resignation. But this, everything about her. So anyway, so not only does she do this creepy, this guy's, it's not even, he's in the casket and they're showing his hand and her, which is vile. If anything happened, God forbid, to my wife, I would say, you're not going to get that camera out of here. What is this? I'm going to schmaltz this up. And then, 6 days later, she does this Zoom. I don't know where they get this from. She's speaking to all these poor people who've been working, 30 hours a day? Like, they're keeling over their desk. Goes, hi, guys. Hey, guys. How's everybody doing? It's me. Look at me with my gold rings and my chopped up hair. It's me. How's everybody? Your husband was just on national. And you go, listen, that merch sale's doing terrific. God forbid. Can you imagine if, your family, if something happens to, Shaun, he goes, hi, guys, listen. By the way, you want to do something with that Shaun merch? Hat sales are down. Let's go, 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 people. Let's go. Show some grief. Grief pays. Let's go. For God's sake, get off your ass and do something. And by the way, contributions down 25%. Who's in charge of this? You're fired. But I love her. Get out of here. Oh, my God. It was like Glengarry Glen Ross. Coffee's for closers. What is this? And they don't realize it. And she's so disconnected. She says, what? What do you mean, what? This is not, it's just, and Candace is thinking, I can't even believe what's fallen into my lap. And then they have everything that she's ever done. First, they go through the history of her mother, Laurie Franz. That's her name, Franz. Remember, she says, hi, listen, at first she says, I never dated. I was in New York and I never dated. And about, a bunch of guys are saying, what? Dated? Is that what you call it? All right. Well, I don't drink either because, and there she is. Hi, everybody. Here's my sizzle reel. She's got her boyfriend, Cleavage Sells. Hey, Baba Reba. Who's this? Don't you remember what you did? She doesn't remember. And then the next thing is, okay, that was the sizzle reel. That was a cute, hot, And then she says, I was walking down the street. I was a tomboy. Did you know that? I was a tomboy. I chopped my hair off, and I was weird looking. I was into sports. I was in the tomboy, you know what I mean? And Lordy, somebody came up and said, would you help us out? And would you help us on Arizona? Would you run for Miss whatever it is? I said, oh, mama, should I do that or not? They're calling me. They're recruiting me. Oh, hell, I'll give it a shot. And you know I won. It's the damnedest thing. Little old me with my chopped up hair. And they're saying, you don't get recruited for this. And then they say, what about Miss, Gravel Pit, Miss Newcastle, Miss, boom, boom, boom. What about that? Did they recruit you for that as well? These stories, the reluctant beauty pageant winner. It's the narratives don't make any sense. There's no, look at there she goes again. There's got to be some, like for example, if they said new from Kleenex, it's Erika proof. They can handle this. We put these tissues to the test. We gave them. It's incredible. Anyway, but going back to the State of the Union, as this woman sat there, the mother of this poor young lady, and there was Erika was like saying, "Oh, remember the old days years ago? They said that when Asperger's was first talked about, some kids on the spectrum would actually go to movies, believe it or not, and to see how people reacted." Because it wasn't, and not to be funny, not to be cute. She doesn't know. She's the worst actress ever. And when Drewski, by the way, comes along, he doesn't know a conservative woman from a hole in the ground. He's only going to pick something up. Did you see his redneck, by the way, at the racetrack? Phenomenal. Anyway, she does this, and people it was the hottest story. And I guarantee you, what drove her the craziest was that people looked and said, this is the most, how do we say this? The people who were listening to this just anyway, I'm losing my mind here. Let's go back to this case. She also has these people from TPUSA who would just shut up. They're going to say, listen, we're a Christian charity organization, right? Sort of. We're going to go and we're going to give Tammy Faye Baker. Absolutely. Remember Tammy Faye, Jim and Tammy Faye?
Yeah.
With the tears. It's unreal. Anyway, when all they had to do was say, listen, we're not going to talk about this case. We're going to go back and we're going to give scholarships and do whatever we do. And that's it. Like it never happened. This is one of the things which is the most, we're just going to continue business as usual. But they don't do this. They don't do this. She wants the limelight. And somebody somewhere's got to be telling her, listen, you're killing this, and not in a good way. It's insane. So anyway, she says, I forgive him. I knew that was coming. I forgive him. All right, fair enough. Why don't you wait until they do something? For example, if I represented you, God forbid, can you imagine that? Representing Attwood? Jeez. Is Son of Sam not available? Okay, all right, I'll do it. The first thing I'm going to say, excuse me, yes, forgive him of what? I'm the defense. He didn't do anything. Forgive what? You just called him guilty. I don't need your help. He's presumed innocent. He hasn't even been charged. For what are you talking about? But nobody thinks. Anyway, so she does this, and then the next thing she does, she comes across, and in our loudest, Shaun, I don't know what I have to do. Anyway, there's something called the Sixth Amendment we have in this country. You're entitled to a speedy and a public trial. They want you to have a trial in public, so you're not in some kind of star chamber. But a speedy trial. So it's like, hey, it's been 5 years here. You going to get around to it? Normally, that is the province that is provided for the defendant. But in the state of Utah, they have this provision where a victim may say, we want to ask the court to speed things up. It's not binding. So not only does she forgive him, but let's go, speed this up. Let's go. Railroad his ass. Let's go. Now, let me tell you something. I'm going to be as artful as I possibly can, because you know where we are right now. I hope that all precautions to ensure his safety are being Look at this. I'm authentic. God, I love this. That's the greatest thing anybody could tell you. Authentic. I love that. Thank you, Jody. So they basically are saying speed this thing up. Now, here's the part. Let's get down to brass tacks. You know a little bit about this. This is the way we do it in our country. The prosecutor, probably the same with yours, the prosecutor has the burden of proof. If I charge you with speeding, drink driving, whatever it is, I got to prove it. It was my choice. As we said from that great movie, Jack Reacher, where Tom Cruise said before he basically crippled somebody by removing his gonads via boot, he says, remember, you wanted this. Okay. You wanted to bring this? Go ahead. Here we go. So they're going to say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're going to ask you to return a verdict of guilty in the case of Tyler Robinson. How's that? Well, he confessed. Hold it. He what? Well, I think he confessed. What if, this is the most important, what if somebody says, I never confessed. I went to my father who told me, you better turn your ass in right now because they're coming to look for you. And we better make sure, let's get bail or do something because we don't want them breaking down the door in the middle of the night. And then you go for your glasses or something. And next thing you know, so we know how that works. So we will turn you in, not for the purposes of any kind of guilty, just to set bond or to establish custody. Now, you don't know. If there was a confession, I swear to you, Shaun, you would have seen that thing a million times, over and over and over and over. You've seen how did you ever watch on TV? Did you do it? I sure did. Okay. Would you sign this? Yeah. Here we go. Would you sign this, please? Just put your, put your John Hancock. There we go. Sign this. Okay. This admits you're waving your right. Okay. Now give it. You understand this? This is what, there's nothing. We don't know where it is. He supposedly admitted. And it was the vaguest, these Discord notes or the text. Well, guys, I was there or something. It was like, what? It was like almost nailing it. Who does this? It's me. I'm the guy. Hey, everybody. Who does this? Who? And the best part is he's got I like what it says, his trans girlfriend. It's a guy. It's a gay. Nothing wrong with that. Quit calling him a trans. As I say, I'm a trans. Look at me. I'm a trans lint brush. No, you're not. You're a person. No, I'm a trans. I identify as a lint brush. Okay, so the trans girlfriend. Imagine this. Hey, would you do me a favor, buddy? I mean, my yeah, I love you. Yeah, would you go get that rifle I left? What? You know that rifle I use? What? Would you go get that? Would you fetch that rifle? That's Granddaddy's shooting iron. He's going to be pissed off if would you go get it? I left it under the tree. You want me to go back to a crime scene and pick up a rifle? And I'm going to walk out and go, hey, what's that? Nothing. Is that a fuzzy hat you got on? Yeah. What the hell's that on? Forget that later. What are you doing? Hey, that's a rifle with a scope on it. Yeah, I know. You see his grandfather. Whose grandfather? The guy who I'd say, forget the rifle. I'm looking at a firing squad. What are you talking? It doesn't make any sense. You think he'd say, I don't know you. Don't text me this. Who are you? Go pick up what? Who? Tyler who? Now you're making me an accessory? Don't text me this stuff. I don't know who you are. What? It's crazy talk. And here's the best part. They brought out dogs that could smell a fish fart 25 miles offshore. If there's anything that was ever fired, these dogs, they didn't find it. They didn't find it. But all of a sudden, oh, here it is. So anyway, so the first thing is, I don't know about the confession. Number two, can you tell me that rifle fired anything ever? I guess it did. It's old. It's a Mauser 98. It's a relic. I'm sure it was. What came from that? Well, I don't know. What did you find within Charlie? Well, it's hard to say. Was it a bullet? Yeah, maybe. What do you mean maybe? What is it? Well, we can't connect it. And then all these people on Fox News, well, that doesn't mean that it wasn't a bullet. Excuse me, what? Well, I don't know what you're worrying about. Well, of course you can't find it. It happens all the time. Excuse me. There's no connection to this rifle. See this lint brush? There's no connection to this either. Well, sometimes when you do fire lint brushes don't fire. What are you talking about? There's no connection to this. So they're going to do a motion to eliminate or a motion to suppress. And they're going to say, don't you dare mention that rifle at all. Don't hold this thing up. Shades of Dallas, the Mannlicher Carcano with a scope. That has nothing to do with this. And all these people are saying, well, just because I can't believe that Candace Owens has the unmitigated audacity to suggest that he's been cleared. Excuse me. This was the rifle you said was used, and now you can't connect it. That says a lint brush. The same thing. And by the way,
Jack's got a question.
Yeah.
If Tyler is a patsy, what do you think he or his family could be getting out of whatever deal they made with the real culprits?
I don't know anything what anybody made. I don't know who their lawyers are. We don't know anything. But let me say what I was saying before. And by the way, Jack, it's a good point. One of the things which is very critical to understand is they better keep an eye on him. Very, very, very important. Because if he were for whatever reason, if one day he just wasn't here, you know what I mean?
Jack
all
Ruby.
The problems go bye-bye. Now, what they would do normally is they would do this. If you really want somebody, remember The Godfather when Frankie Five Angels, Frankie Pentangeli, they took him to an Air Force base. That's what you do. You take him to an Air Force base or something, maybe a hospital, maybe not even a prison, maybe it's like a hospital unit that has a lock on it. And you have them under lock and key, and you have them in a room where they have these particular types of cameras that can detect drops in body temperature and anything that goes wrong, you know what I mean? And what happens is they will then figure out, in this particular instance, what needs to be. Wow. Yeah. Anyway, then they got to figure out what we need to do. There we go. There's Jack Ruby. Jack Ruby. One of the best lines ever. Jack, why'd you do it? I wanted to prevent Jackie from having to testify. Jack, she's not going to testify. What? She went down. Remember now, I mean, this was, and they gave him cancer, the fastest acting cancer anybody's ever seen in the history of the world. All of a sudden, and he told Earl Warren from the Warren Commission, get me out of here. Get me there now. That's okay, Earl. So anyway, going back to this whole thing, and forgive me for being frenetic, but I'm living this. And I just did a new video on it. So what they're going to do is they're going to say, okay, so let's go back. Now, tell the jury again what you're going to do, and let's assume that we have suppressed any mention of a confession, if indeed there's no confession at all, and I don't want you to mention the rifle. So what are you going to do? What's your evidence? What? Let me say, what if you got in a plane right now, flew to Utah, and said, my name is Shaun Attwood. I did it. Take me. And they go, who are you? Shaun Attwood. I did it. I did it myself. I did it. I was responsible. Arrest me. Excuse me. Get out of here. What do you mean? What do you mean now? Get out of here. No, I did it. Beat it. We already have our guy. Do you know how many people normally on a case like this, how many police get calls from people suggesting that it happened? That people claiming? Do you know that during the Lindbergh case in the 30s or whatever, they had more people confessing. They had to answer the phone. It's not you. Hang up. It's not you. People. So why him? Why are you holding him? What is it? What is you? Well, he was there. Well, somebody said, listen, I was there too. I'm Shaun Attwood and I was here. Look, here's a selfie I took that day. Here's a timestamp. I'm right there. It's me. Arrest me. We don't want you. We want that guy. But there's no evidence of that guy. I know. Think about it.
You've got a question from Anisha.
Yes.
Lionel, what can be done by the defense about how manipulated the crime scene was, objects, camera card, paving over it, etc.?
Reasonable doubt. Remember, all they have to do is a couple of things. Just make that jury so sick of it. State your name for the record. I forget the guy's name, Tyler or Tyre, whatever. There was somebody. And what did you do? Well, I'm in charge of the audiovisual. Yes. I noticed this picture. Is that you in this video? Yeah. And you're jumping in. The first thing you do is you took an SD card out of the camera. Was that you? Was that you doing that? Yeah. Why'd you do that? Well, I was a friend. I don't know. You didn't take the camera. That camera's pretty expensive. You left the camera, but you took this thing. Why'd you do that? You know, and here's the one. The question. Did the prosecution grant you immunity from prosecution? Why? For tampering with a crime scene. Did they offer you immunity? Did they agree not to prosecute you for witness tampering for what you just did? You jumped on the stage after a crime scene and you started immediately taking, or others taking SD cards out. What is the matter? This doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? No, nobody. Well, I'm surprised. Nobody read you your rights? Do you, about this, Your Honor, would you have somebody read this gentleman his rights? I don't want him to inadvertently confess to a crime. And the jury's thinking, what? This is their witness? Well, wait a minute, you're right. How about the fact that they paved everything? They paved it. It's like, I don't even know what's there anymore. If this were any other situation, they would have kettled that whole thing. They would have said, nobody move. All of a sudden, the police show up. You ever see this? They have this not tape, but it's almost like an instant fence. And they just put it around and say, you're not leaving. If you want to leave, you got to go through here. We're going to do a biometric of each person. Click, 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 click. And we're going to be able to know who was there that day right there. Now, it gets even better. Then we get into the practical parts of it. Okay, so here's my question. How did this happen? Well, he decided one day to say, I'm going to drive 3 hours. Right, doggone it, because he said so many terrible things about trans. You're a trans activist? Yeah. Why? Because my girlfriend. Girlfriend. He's not trans. He's just a guy with a hat. You know, that's like saying, look, I'm a lint brush. Okay. I've had it. I'm going to go and I'm going to get him. Why? I'm just going to do it. So he tools on over there. And he brings Granddaddy's shooting iron, which, by the way, is so important that they get back to Grandpa because he's going to kill him. Because that's his favorite. What? So then somebody says, let's take this screwdriver and we're going to break this thing down. Now, here's a part. You see this granular photo of somebody running across the roof. I guess that's Tyler. I guess. I don't know who that is. They say it is. Now, if Tyler takes a stand and he says, that's not me. I didn't do that. He has to take the stand. He's got nothing to lose. Normally we say, don't take the stand. You've got nothing to lose, my friend. If it isn't you, fine. If it was you, well, then, you can't say anything. So somebody said, in fact, the great Jimmy Dore brought this up, and he did a much better job where he was talking about how they had the rifle and then they have a screwdriver and they unscrewed it and he broke this thing down because he's got to get it down his pants or something with a scope. This is a Mauser 98 and he goes up, puts it back together again, recalibrates it, balances, check all this stuff, does it, has to then take it apart again, and they find it later fully put together. But here's the best thing, Shaun. They found his DNA on it. It's his. If I take your wallet or your shoes and I'm going to find your DNA. It's yours. Plus, 5 or 6 other people? What the hell is that all about? So how did this thing end up wrapped in a towel and the dogs never found it? Now, here we go. Now we get into, let's assume it survives a judgment of acquittal and it goes to me and the judge doesn't dismiss it outright, but forces me to put on a defense. Okay, let's go. Now I get on witness after witness after witness after witness. State your name for the record. Retired Gunnery Sergeant Shaun Attwood, United States Marine Corps. And do you know anything about that? I sure do. I was a drill instructor and I know about this and I'm 45 years. What is this? That's a Mauser 98. Now, Sergeant Attwood, is this being? Yes, it's safe. Good. Do me a favor. Take it apart, will you? Now, how many of these have you done? Oh, I don't know, 100, 200. Great. Okay, ready? Go. And you have a stopwatch. Now, here you are. Got all the time in the world, but you're not some 21, 22-year-old kid on a roof, scared out of his mind. He's auditioning as Lee Harvey Oswald, the lone sniper. And you're going to take this thing apart, put it, and balance this and make sure the scope by yourself, no spotter, no nothing. And you're going to decide, I'm going to pick, this is my day. I'm going to make my debut. Okay. How difficult is that? Real difficult. Now, click. 3 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever it is. Now, put it back together again and take it apart and put it back together again. What? It's nuts. Then we're going to say, how difficult was this? Now, Gunnery Sergeant Attwood, yes, sir. Did you try to replicate this? We sure did. And did you use a Mauser 98? Yes, sir. And did you take all the time in the world? Yes, sir. And did you have a spotter with you? Yes, sir. And did you have a rangefinder? Yes, sir. And how difficult was that? Well, we got it. I can do it. But I had all the time in the world. My heart isn't beating in my chest. I'm not sweating. My hand's not trembling for the first time. Not only that, I've got to figure out, now, where is Charlie? Oh, is that Charlie? No matter how good you think that scope is, there's a lot of people up there. And Gunnery Sergeant Attwood, if you were off by, let's say, a millimeter here, how does that translate into miss target? 10 feet? That's a pretty good shooting. It sure was. Now we get this. State your name for the record. Dr. Shaun Attwood, medical examiner, gunshot wound expert. What did you do? I was the chief of emergency services at Johns Hopkins University. How many gunshots? I've seen 1,000 of them. If a 30-06 round were to hit right here, there's no exit wound? None? Because remember, Candace had a great shot behind Charlie, but there's nothing. You see him do like this, and I think there was some spattering of his hand. That's it. I'm sure I could get somebody, a doctor or somebody, to come forward and say, believe it or not, that would have almost removed this part of the body, versus remember their official language. He had such a good diet that his bones are like titanium. It's like, would you stop that? What are you, nut? What? Every hunter, he said, hell, I shot a deer without, they got me a bow or took his name. This. So anyway, some people are saying, and there's all kinds of alternative theories. I don't know anything about this. One of them, they said it might be that microphone. Now, let's assume this. Just let's be crazy. All of the evidence is going to be kept. Whatever is retrieved from Charlie's body, pictures, all the ME report, medical examiner report, all of this kept in a bag. And somebody says, guess what? I've looked at those fragments, and they're not metal. I don't know what they are, but I've known lead, and I've known, round. I don't know what this is. It's like hard plastic or something. Let's assume it's inconsistent with anything. Dr. Attwood, have you ever looked? Oh yes, I've seen bullet fragments disintegrate, atomize. Yes, and there's something normally that retains some continuity or integrity of it being metallic. That's not it. I don't know what the hell this is. So let me get this straight. The prosecution has the duty to show that on this date, in this county, at the time, that Mr. Robinson, with malice aforethought, premeditation, did unlawfully take the life of Mr. Kirk using some type of firearm. And by the way, we don't have a firearm here, do we? No. And I want a jury instruction to be read that says it was inconclusive. So we now are finding there might be something else in there negating the firearm. So I just disproved one of the facts of your indictment. That's a not guilty. That may not even get to the jury. You've got to show it didn't. When you say things like asphyxiation, strangulation, drowning, automobile accident. Remember the four types of DEATH is NASH. Think of the acronym: natural, accidental, suicide, homicide. That's it. Sorry about that. But or you undetermined. So you have to narrow this down. You can't say, well, something happened and I don't know where. No, you've got to pinpoint it. You asked for this. You wanted this. This was your narrative. So we're not even done. Then we have experts who talk about breaking down the weapon. Experts talking about trying to replicate the shot. Experts saying, how difficult would this have been? Then state your name for the record. Professor Shaun Attwood. We have in New York City, John Jay Criminal Justice, part of a City University of New York. This is the premier law enforcement. This is like the Oxford of police science. And I wanted you, retired Detective Attwood, to go through how many rules of basic policing did they violate? How much time do you have? This was the worst case ever. They didn't secure the area. It was nothing. We don't know none of this made sense. What about the security? Now we get into this one. Now we can't go too far. But what if I found out that there were a lot of threats and that they took absolutely almost like they took MIHOP and LIHOP, MIHOP, LIHOP. Make it happen on purpose or let it happen on purpose. We don't know. What I want to do is I want to get, this is the reaction I want from the jury before they go into deliberate. You're kidding me. This is the biggest piece of give me the verdict form. Give me the verdict. You're wasting your time with this. Did you do anything right? Anything? And then the defense team, they drop 85 terabytes of what? Here you go. Figure it out. And they have summaries. Summaries. I don't want your summary. I want the actual evidence. Now imagine this. Attwood, you're driving and they one of these them UK fellers pull you over for, what do you call it? Drink driving? We call it drunk driving. And you're pulled over. And he says, wow, 0.31? My God, you should be embalmed. Well, you're under arrest. And then they're going to mail the sample. But the sample is lost in the mail. Comes time for your trial and they say, excuse me, where's the breath sample? Well, we lost it. Kind of like the bullet fragments. We lost it. But it happens all the time. But trust me. Trust you. What do you mean? Well, it said, if somebody says to somebody, hey, guess what? I'm pregnant. Really? Yeah, I took a home pregnancy test. Now, why I want to find out why my home is pregnant, I have no idea. Well, where is it? I lost it. What? What do you mean you lost it? Well, trust me. So that's what they're saying here. I don't have any evidence showing that anything was fired from this rifle, but trust me, it happens. We lose things all the time. You wouldn't even, this wouldn't even make a misdemeanor case. It's the worst. And we just got started. And here's the best part. What Candace is saying, and I'm saying as well, is I don't know this guy from Adam. I don't know anything. He looks creepy as hell. He plays it a little bit too cool, but that's all right. Maybe he's kind of crazy. Maybe because that jury's going to be looking at him the whole time saying, does he look like that guy? What I want is justice. I want the truth. If you're going to railroad somebody, not on my watch. We're tired of patsies. I was around. I was 5 years old. But I remember Lee Harvey Oswald. 23 years old, 24 years old. Remember this? I'm a patsy. How many times, what do we need to know from history about how this thing works? Now, remember, there's 4 issues to this. The crime itself. Number 2, the identity of the assailant. Number 3, why? Good luck with that one. Why? A lot of people are suggesting why. Charlie was talking to this guy. Charlie was talking to that guy. There is a very, very serious part of me that says, I don't think it's any of the suspects that you think. I will also suggest to you that I think everybody, including Erika, TPUSA, all of these numbnuts walking around, I don't think they had anything to do with it, any knowledge, nothing. They're the last people you want to know anything. If you're going to do something, you don't want Erika, Miss Betty Davis, you don't want her to know anything. Plausible deniability. It's ridiculous. She may be a lot of things, but I don't think she is in any way. There's just no evidence. But it doesn't make any sense. But who? Who, Shaun? Who? There's the usual suspects. Foreign groups. How about Joe? Joe, what's his name? Joe Mama. Remember Joe, who said, I wanted to find out from the FBI, are there foreign actors involved? Shut up, go away. Kash Patel, as worthless as tits on a boar hog. This guy is worthless. You know why? He just wants to go around because you know why? Because I'm getting laid. He's got a girlfriend for the first time ever. He's flying around the FBI plane. I'm getting laid. Okay. He goes, yeah, look at me. She loves me. Take it easy there, Kash. Take it easy. Imagine J. Edgar Hoover acting like this. Did you see him at the hockey game at the Olympics? Hey, he was like, oh, I'm getting laid. I mean, look at me. And Dan Bongino, gone. He's another one. Who are these people? President Trump. Who are these people? How about Christian Nome? You see that old husband hurt and them fake did it over there? What is happening? This is my country. And I could see your cousin. Yes, we do have wills, but you've got Brian Nome, Bimbet. This is crazy. Did you see the other day when the president was on with this woman, this evangelical? I feel that you're like our Jesus. Praise be to God. This is nuts. I'm embarrassed. Please, we need an adult here. So this guy, they still can't get rid of the you-know-what files from that Jeffrey dude. He's another one, too. Listen, Kash, can you help us? One more thing about those files. Did I tell you I'm getting laid? Okay, you did. Thank you. This man's worthless. This is worthless. This is the saddest thing I've ever seen. I mean, we also have people here, our Secretary of War say, I'm going to blow you into the next kingdom come. I'm going to bomb you into the Stone Age. Imagine Putin saying that. So anyway, we're in the twilight zone. I'm serious. Every day I wake up and I'm thinking, my God. So then I'm thinking this one. So anyway, now they're telling me that I'm a conspiracy theorist. Well, you know, like Kash Patel. I'm not Kash Patel. Gore Vidal said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy analyst. I won justice for that. I won justice. I'm going to find out who took. Let me tell you something. All kidding aside, Charlie Kirk was a great guy. This man was this. I got to tell you a little background. On September the 10th, when this happened, my wife and I were at a party, and there were people. These were some interesting people. You know what I mean? Interesting. And some of them, maybe, I don't know, but they were like almost bereft and crying. They said, I listen to him every day. Parents were telling me that I never knew my kid loved him. People were heartbroken. Seriously, heartbroken. This was a very serious thing. He would tell people, now what I want you to do is I don't want you to have sex before marriage. Don't do drugs and stay with your wife forever. And by the way, ladies, don't work. I thought, oh, this is great. They're going to eat this up. Hey, Kash, what about you? I'm getting laid. Okay, good. So people liked it because he had structure. He had responsibility. He had discipline, and they loved him. And he treated people. He was without them. TPUSA is a song. It's gone. It's done. It's finished. There's nothing there. Nothing. I mean, he was it. This guy was. You've seen him do this? He gets these people. They walk up and he says, "And why do you think you're a?" Hey, Charlie, I'm a lint brush. Okay. And why do you think you're a lint brush? Because I identify. Okay. And he never mocked anybody. He was incredible. And he was a great young man who I think, very frankly, between you and me, I don't know if he ever got it in his life, because I think when he got a hold of her, she put her hooks into him and he didn't know what hit him. You've seen this before. Do you ever have friends of yours where you say, dude, this woman is you this is your first rodeo here. She's playing you like a fool, but I love her. Well, maybe, but she played him like a fiddle. I mean, and did you see when she's used to this? Did you see when she met with JD Vance? This is after her husband, hey, grabs him by the head like this. He goes, let go of my head. He goes, come here. And he was like, oh, Erika, let go of my head. Let go of my neck. She grabs his head. How about when she met with Trump that time? Trump's like, I mean, she just goes full tilt boogie. And everybody says, like, what is going on with this woman? There's nothing, the sequence, this. And how are you? And then she does this one day. She's on every show. Stop. I mean, just up to it's all about her. So you've got that. This is a soap opera. So anyway, here comes Candace, who blows this thing apart. She and some great people. I mentioned Charlie. This you've seen him. This Baron Coleman. Oh my God, they're deep diving. I'll bet you half of the time these people listen go, I didn't know that. And Mr. Attwood, did you know that in 1975 you were arrested for making lewd noises while they changed a mannequin at Macy's? I didn't know that. You were there. How did you know that? They find, I mean, and by the way, Candace says, and I'm going to be off for a week because we got to do a deep dive. Oh my God. And you know who's really got the worried look? Brigitte Macron goes, excuse me, Emmanuel, why don't we cancel the lawsuit? She's going to find out about it because this woman finds out everything. She is just, and she doesn't stop. She's got a pair of nads on her that you need a wheelbarrow. I mean, there's like elephantine werewolves. My God. It just keeps getting, and people love this because they see this truth. Unbelievable.
Question from Jack. If Tyler walks from the case, would he be given a new identity to avoid public persecution? And what would happen to the case after he walks?
It's acquittal. It's done. It's finished. It's through. Absolutely. Fifth Amendment says you cannot retry somebody. You can't retry them. That's it. One time. That's it. Once jeopardy attaches, that's it. Goodbye. Listen, I don't know how put it this way. I don't think he wants that. I think he said, wait. I got to make a living. I don't want to go into this. Who wants him? What are you going to do? Hey, today our guest on the Shaun Attwood show is Mr. Tyler Robinson. Tyler, tell us how you didn't do it. Well, I didn't do it. Thank you so much. Tune in next week what is he going to say? It wasn't me. And then you're going to go into this one. And you know a little bit about this. Not to mention your crack team. If I were to sit there and they say, hey, listen, they got these Discord notes or WhatsApp or text messages, you would say, whoa. You're going to subpoena the custodian of the records of maybe Apple or Discord, whoever it is. Make sure that this is exactly what it says. I know there's a screenshot, but show me, here's my account. Did I ever say this? Is this legitimate? And also, here's a guy who, like most people his age, they're not exactly loquacious. They walk around, and he's writing these Philippics, these Jeremiads to his girlfriend, and he says, and do you know what the vehicle is? The vehicle? Who is this? It's almost like ChatGPT meets Grok meets all of a sudden these normal LOL, you know, these morphs and glyphs and these little utterances. Now he's writing these chapters about, you see, it was a terrible day when I walked out to that fateful. Who is this? They're so bad. And I wonder, do you ever find yourself asking, are these people that stupid, or are they doing this on purpose just to drive me crazy? It's like when that feller that we know that was dispatched in a certain jail cell. Why would you do this? I'd say, whoa, folks. He can disappear anytime we want. Why are we doing it? Why is he doing it? Why? There's no need for this. Oh, no, let's do it. Let's show our dad, and let's put him in a cell with that other guy. So are they just incompetent? Do they not care? Are they doing this after the fact? And you think somebody from TPUSA would say, listen, Erika, you got to stop talking to people. You just have to. And Erika, quick, what are the name of your 2 kids? Gigi, I don't know. Do we ever hear about them? And where's Charlie's parents? Where are they? And where is he buried? Did we have a funeral? Where is he buried? Did you see her friend who supposedly came along and said, well, I've known her for, just barely knows her. This is a woman also who says she has such a connection with, forget the Fort Huachuca, but she basically did a CIA industrial on EMPs with Woolsey and others. And why is she doing that? Why is she talking about EMP? What is going on here? And what about even the story about her father? Remember that? Single mom, never saw my dad. No, you did. You saw your father, huh? All the men, and look, there's nothing wrong with that. But the point is, when you, listen to this. The best is, under the rules of evidence, whenever you take the stand, you put your credibility in evidence. You understand what I'm saying? You put your credibility in evidence. So if she sits there and she testifies, well, Erika Kirk, or is it Franz? Is that your name? Let's talk about it. You've had quite an interesting past. And I guarantee you, in 5 minutes, and I hope that jury's loaded with women, they're going to take one look at her and say, I can't stand this woman. She does this thing where she gets on your nerves so fast. Shaun, there's this thing that we have. Your son has it. Dogs have it. They can tell who's legit and who's not. There's this thing. Did you ever see your son say, who is this guy? It's like, how does he know this? Who is this guy? And there are things that people ask. And the key is understated. Understated is where you draw. Look at the power. Look at the courage. Look at the elegance of this woman. Look, that's what she can't do that. She can't do it because she has this role or something where she always talks about herself, how she's doing it, how they're mistreating her, how it is like nothing I've ever seen before. And you got to ask yourself, do you not know anything about just getting the message across? And that plays a huge part. So let me tell you something. If they do any kind of jury analysis or any case analysis, somebody's going to do a mock jury and they're going to say, first of all, lose her. Can't lose her. She's the spouse. Can you leave her out? Leave her out. No. Oh, good. Let me say, I feel so sorry for that prosecutor because he doesn't understand. And they're so, and the sheriff resigns right away. 30 years is enough. We also have this thing recently. I don't know if you've been following this, but just as an example, this is fresh in people's minds. We have a woman called, as you say, Savannah Guthrie. She's this woman she's for the Today Show. Her mother, in the middle of the night, gone. Nothing. Gone. And the police and the FBI, it's the most, Kash Patel, forget it. Not even. And we just went through this and we're saying, we used to think like FBI was competent. The police were competent. By God, they get their man. You almost knew in the old days. If they charge somebody with something, you might as well just plead guilty because they don't charge people unless they got them. Not anymore. Now there's political info and why they pick this guy. Now, I don't know who's what, but imagine this scenario. If somebody says, are you sure you really want to go forward with this? If that jury says, this guy didn't even know what happened. Well, who did do it? Was he this dupe that they had here? And they said, so then people say, well, who did do it? It's one thing about the Butler case where President Trump, they tried to dispatch him. We know who it was, at least theoretically. There he is. We got him and that sort of thing. Here we don't know. What if all of a sudden he's there and he hears this noise? He goes, is that me? I didn't do that. Run. They think it's you. How did this rifle? I don't know about that. They had him at a Dairy Queen, kind of like a fast food place. shortly thereafter, acting very, very calm. A lot of people do not act, when you've been through something this harrowing, you really got to ask yourself, what is the demeanor evidence? What type of behavior is commensurate with or consistent with the way normal people act? This stuff doesn't just, Shaun, there's so much wrong with it. And if it wasn't for people like, the last time I saw anything like that, it was during OJ, when people said, this is the wildest case. Now, here's the deal. With OJ Simpson, this was before social media, we know who did it. We just didn't know how they were going to prove it. It's like a Columbo episode. Columbo was great. They start off, they tells you who the killer is, but then you got to figure out, can he figure it out? In this case, we're not really sure. We're not really sure who did it. And I'm not sure whether, it's very possible that Tyler could absolutely be the person involved and through a comedy of errors. But that's not what we have to do. Jurors are not detectives. They don't have to put the case together. That's the prosecutor. And if you do one of the most if you walk into Harrods one day, pull the biggest robbery ever, walk out, and nobody recognizes you, which is impossible to think, you get away with it. Not because you didn't do it, but he can't prove it. And it's just through happenstance. Or maybe the cameras were turned off. Or maybe the only people there were part of a Japanese tourist group and nobody recognized you. Whatever it was. Sometimes the most obvious people, by virtue of a circumstances you can't believe, you just can't prove it. It just, that may be one of these cases. I don't think so. But you ask anybody, and if you say, okay, why? They call her a name. They call me a demon. A demon. Oh, by the way, OJ did do it. Absolutely. But to our friend there, I was there in the Santa Monica courtroom during the civil trial where all this evidence came in that didn't make it to trial. Oh. Remember his book? If I Did It? In fact, it should be called If I Did It Again. Anyway, so that's another story. So this is one of those things that's very, very important to understand. Everybody's presumed innocent. I understand that. But Shaun, there is nobody that I know who really says, oh yeah, he did it. And the only people who come out who are all of a sudden they're in favor of his prosecution, the best thing they could come up with is like Dan Bongino, Candace is evil. Candace is a psychopath. What is this? If I didn't know better, I think people were paid to say that. Did you believe that? Not that I'm saying it's true, but they all came out and they said the same thing. All of a sudden, out of nowhere. And they didn't just say she was crazy. She was psychotic and Adderall. She was a lunatic. And I'm thinking, there's one thing about Candace Owens. She's not crazy. She is so smart. She is like the natural Torquemada, the natural inquisitor. Don't mess with her. Don't piss her off. Don't challenge her. Don't do that. Don't say how dare you, because in two instances, number one, that Brigitte Macron thing, she would have let that thing go had they not come after her. They say, okay, remember, Jack Reacher, you wanted this. And the same thing with this. Nobody ever really thought anything about it. She was just a concern. I think she loved Charlie, not romantically, but just as a friend. They were very, very close. And she says, by God, if nobody's going to fight for your justice, I am. And then what they did was they came out and they said, what? She's crazy. She's stupid. Okay. Tee it up. You wanted this. Go ahead. Ooh, any proof? Yeah. There was some evidence that Charlie was about to file for divorce before he died. Whatever. Could be. He had been called in for marriage counseling. I don't know. That may be interesting, but I want to go back and reiterate, not because I'm trying to be super safe or whatever. I don't think she had anything to do with this. If you really thought about this, though, the people that were probably, if I had to pick, where would I look? I would probably look, not that I'm saying any of the people that we've seen on TPUSA, but what I thought was most interesting was when Charlie was talking about doing a kind of a Doge deep dive, when he said, hey, where's all this money going? Do you see how many private planes these people have? Private jets? I've never been in a private jet in my life. And these guys are going back sometimes by themselves. It's like, wait a minute. Where's all this money coming from? And their own personal lives and their living. Charlie did not live in squalor, which is fine. I mean, I guess he deserves it. I can see a lot of people thinking, I would say, who would have, qui bono, qui prodest, who benefits, but also who would suffer. I think a lot of people were worried because there was a lot of talk about, hey, what's going on here? And not so much about foreign. Listen, we have to talk about, as you know, there are all different countries who may have fallen out of disfavor. But here's the thing. Charlie Kirk was not the only one saying this. It wasn't like he was the only voice. Believe me, you could stand in line. This place was, you know, when you have International Court of Justice and ICC and you have indictments, I don't think the real tipping point was, yeah, that's right, we've got that. But Charlie Kirk said, So again, unless these people are crazy or unless they just like flexing their muscles, I would think sometimes you have to ask yourself, why would somebody do something this grand, this ostentatious, and this risky for being caught?
Thank you, Lionel. Please support Lionel at his channel. Link is in the live chat. Link is in the description box. Huge thank you for coming on, my friend. I'm going to close the show and let you go. Thank you for the laugh as well. Cheers.
All the best, sir.
All the best. Yeah, so please support Lionel. He posts very regularly. His channel link is down there in the description. If you're watching on replay, it's in the live chat. Ron's got the Royal Mess at 7:30 p.m. UK. I have got Matthew Steeples, 3 p.m. tomorrow, Epstein Files and Royal News. And then we have got Kevin Annette, Saturday, 7 p.m. UK, talking about the Ninth Circle rituals, Vatican Bank scams, and Elon Musk's brain chips. So got a huge 3 days ahead of us, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Going to end this one now.